I'll focus up here. So is that kind of hard? No. Well, it wasn't perfect the first time, so it may be a little bit difficult. But it might be easier because you guys already know each other's names. Do you think it would have been harder if y'all didn't know each other's names?
Yes.
Definitely. Okay. So most of the time, we are able to communicate with our voices to each other in order to get something done. Now, with farmers, they can't exactly talk to their pigs and figure out what their name is and identify them that way. So they have to figure out a different way to identify them. So, how can anybody guess and tell me different ways that farmers identify their animals?
They put labels on their ears.
Labels, so you got ear tags.
The way they look.
Okay, yeah, I guess that would make sense, the way they look. Size, okay, there's lots of different ways to classify them.
You can tell by how much they squeal.
By how much they squeal. There you go. If you're real close with them, learn the different squeals. So one of the things what we're talking about today is going to be ear notching, which is a different way that farmers identify pigs. So basically, it's a universal system that allows people in, all around the world to be able to identify their pigs correctly. It's important that you know down to each individual pig who's who. So it's kind of like you guys have a name, and then a pig would have a number. So that's how you identify them. So I guess you can go ahead and start the PowerPoint.
I might go start the PowerPoint. All right.
Is it because it's frozen? Or so if you pull up the PowerPoint and then unfreeze it.
Oh, actually, yeah. You. So, we're college kids, and they don't teach us how to use technology. No, we're kidding. We're kidding.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I've never used Google Classroom. Okay, so you guys can close your Chromebooks because we're not going to need them anymore. And I'm going to pass out these.
Here, I'll pass out.
Notes. Okay, so Miss Stacey is going to pass out the notes that we're going to get started. Just leave that for a second. So, while he's passing those out, we're going to talk a little bit about why pig ear notching is important. So firstly, the ear notching is used to identify the litter number and the individual pig in the litter. So like I said, it's their own personal identification number. So just as we have a name or a phone number or a birthday, all different ways to identify us, a pig is going to have an individual number. So I know some of you mentioned ear tags. They're commonly used with cows. Ear tags on pigs commonly fall out or they get caught and rip the ears. So pigs have a little bit thinner ears, so sometimes they get caught, especially with the breeds that have floppier ears. It can be problematic. And then ear tags are also harder to place on pigs because you have to make sure, again with floppy ears, that they don't hit the pig's eyes.
Thank you.
And you have to make sure that you don't hit any of the large veins in the ears. So notching is the easiest way and a universal way to identify your pigs. So the tools that are used, it's a V ear notcher, and it looks like this. So you can see there's a little cutout of a V right here. It's pretty small. It just makes a small little notch. It's really quick and everything, so it doesn't take much power. And then a lot of people also use iodine to spray after it's cut to make sure that it's cleaned properly. So you want to make sure that they don't get any infections or anything like that. So on your paper, you guys have a space to make notes on this. And then we'll go over that in a second. So for the universal ear notching system, the left ear is the individual pig number and the right ear is the litter number. But when we're looking at it, it's not the left and right that you see, it's the left and right on the pig. So if you're looking at the piece of paper, on the right side is going to be the pig's left ear, and the left side is going to be the pig's right ear. So just imagine you're looking at the pig from behind, and that's what you're going for. It's not what you see, it's what the pig's left and right is. So if you guys wanna label the left ear on the pig's ear as left and the, being the individual pig number, and then label the right ear being the litter number. Okay? So the left ear has 3 notch locations right here. So you've got 9 up at the top, 3 on the other side, and 1 at the bottom. So you guys can label those on your sheet as well, because you will be able to refer back to them. And then the right ear has 5 notch locations. So the 1 is at the bottom. On top of that is the 27. Next to that is 9. On the very tip is 81. And below that is 3. And I'll give you guys a second to fill that out because I don't know that fast. Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Are we good with the notes? Anyone need more time? Okay. So, aside from the 81 on the right side of the ear, you can only have 2 notches per section. But you want to make sure that you are using the least amount of notches possible. So there's only one way to get every single number, and that's to utilize the least amount of notches possible. So if you had a pig that was number 3, you wouldn't put 3 number 1 notches, you would just put the 3. Does that make sense? So you want to do it in the least amount possible, and 81 is the only one that you obviously can't do too, because it's on the tip. So the highest possible number for the right ear, which is this one, is going to be 161. So there's no way that you can get over 161. And then the highest possible number for the left ear is number 26. So there's no way that you can go over 26. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think you guys have a space for that on your notes too, if you want to look at the
Yeah,
bottom.
on the bottom, if you guys want to add that in here. Okay, just some fun facts or helpful tips. Like I said earlier, the system is based on the pig's left ear and the pig's right ear, not what we see. It's important to disinfect the V ear notcher, which was that tool that I showed you guys, after each use. So I told you about the iodine that you spray directly on the pig's ear after you do it to make sure that they don't get infections. But you also want to dip the V ear notcher into disinfectant after each pig. That way, if one pig has something wrong with it, you're not passing it throughout the litter. You want to avoid placing a notch in the middle or on the outside edge because it can be easy to confuse them. So if you, on your sheet, it has the crosshairs, so it has a line going through the middle and a line going down. So you never want to put your notches too close to either one of those lines because you might confuse a 1 for a 3 or a 9 for a 27. You want to make sure that they're far away from each other. And then it's best to notch ears in pigs that are 1 to 3 days old. I know you guys are probably wondering if this hurts them or anything like that. If the pig is young and you do it in the appropriate time range, their nerve endings on their ears aren't developed yet, so they don't feel it. It really is the best way to practice it, and I promise you they're okay. So we're going to do a little bit of practice, and Miss Sophie is going to take over at this point, and I will give her the reins.